Welcome back to the Combat Sports Media YouTube channel. This is your boy Sev, and in this video we're going to be talking about breaking down and giving out a prediction for the upcoming Bantamweight Unification fight between two Filipino warriors in Nonito Donaire versus Riel Casimero. This is for the WBC and WBO Bantamweight world titles. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, Ponce de Leon, Juan Ponce de Leon. Now, a lot like boxing, life is much the same way. When a man sets out goals to accomplish, he has to take risks and he has to gamble in order to accomplish those goals. And the bigger the goal, the bigger the risk, the bigger the gamble. Okay? The bigger the goal, the bigger the risk, the bigger the gamble. Ponce de Leon was from an elite class. He was from an elite family. He could have lived his whole life in Spain sitting on his ass, living a very comfortable life. He could have been a general in Spain until the ripe old age of 80 if he wanted to, or whenever he died. But that wasn't enough for him. He wasn't going to be satisfied as a man living that kind of life, because comfort alone isn't enough for a man. I will repeat, comfort is not enough for a man. A man needs goals to go after and accomplish, or at least try to accomplish. And this was a man that wanted to do great things. And so what he did was, as a kid, as a teenager, he volunteered and went on the voyage with Christopher Columbus on Christopher Columbus's first voyage to the Americas. So he was actually on that ship with Chris when they first came here. And on their first trip, they, by the way, for those of you guys that don't know, we're in Old San Juan. And on that first trip, Christopher Columbus stopped by Puerto Rico, but they didn't really establish or build anything here. They just stopped by real quick. And then they eventually went to what is now Dominican Republic. And that was the first official place where, you know, they established shit or whatever. Now, Ponce de Leon, when he became a man a few years later, he came back here on his own. And he did what he did over here. He colonized Puerto Rico. He played a huge role in that. And that's why his statue is here in Old San Juan. However, he did go out to Florida to try to accomplish and do the same thing. However, the local Floridians at the time weren't having none of that shit. And so basically, he got sliced up by the locals over there. And the conquistadors immediately fled, and they hopped back on their ships, and they went to Cuba. And when they went to Cuba, they tried to treat him, and you know, they tried to treat him of his wounds, but he ended up dying at the age of 47 or 48, all because he decided to take a risk and then gamble to accomplish the things that he wanted to accomplish. And yeah, he did die at 47 years of age, but look at him now. He's gonna be forever remembered. He's in the History Hall of Fame, and he changed the course of humanity, for better or for worse, forever. So no matter how you slice it and dice it, this man played a significant role when it comes to the future of mankind. And he's in the history books forever. He's in the History Hall of Fame, and he did what he set out to do. And mind you, when he went to Florida to try to colonize Florida, he did that on his own, man. Like the Spanish government, if I'm not mistaken, told him that he's got to finance that himself. And so he not only did he take risks and gamble after gamble, but words can't even describe like the things that he did to try to accomplish the things that he wanted to accomplish. This guy was very driven, to say the least. And when we talk about boxing and driven people that set out goals and take risks in order to accomplish them, we talk about guys like Nonito Donaire, who is a future Hall of Famer, and who is one of the best fighters, who will go down as one of the best fighters ever below featherweight. So below 126, Nonito Donaire is going to go down as one of the best ever, no matter how you slice it and dice it. Just like Juan Ponce de Leon is in the history books forever, no matter how you slice it and dice it. Now look, I'm not saying morally this guy was on point, and I'm not saying he didn't commit some heinous acts. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the mere fact that this guy set out goals and he was willing to take risks and gamble after gamble in order to accomplish them. Because that's how life is. You're not going to get shit unless if you take a risk. So Donaire is where he's at because of the risks that he decided to take. And he's the current WBC Bantamweight champion because of the risks that he decided to take. And he is going to face another Filipino warrior for a unification fight in Riel Casimero. Now, Donaire, as we all know, he's tall for the weight. He's a sharpshooter, an extremely powerful puncher. And he's got that deadly left hook, that check left hook. And again, he's just big for the weight. He's got good hand speed and great knockout power. And once again, I have to keep mentioning that left hook. It's a thing of beauty. And I would like to point out another thing about Donaire. Donaire, he didn't really fight all that much at 118, regardless of what you guys may think. He only fought. He came up from 115 10 years ago and fought a tune-up fight at 118. And then he fought Fernando Montiel, who at the time, which was already 10 years ago, was the WBC WBO champion. And we all know what he did to Montiel. He nearly took his fucking head off with his left hook. And immediately after that, he defended those titles once against Omar Narvaez, who was a champion coming up a weight division. He was an undefeated 115-pound champion who came up to challenge Donaire for those titles and obviously lost a boring unanimous decision. And then after that is when Donaire went on that epic tear that we all remember him for. That's when he jumped up. After that, immediately is when he jumped up to 122, and he fought 4 times that year, and he cleared out that whole division. He would have become undisputed, but he kept dumping the belts after he won them. He didn't give a fuck about collecting all the belts. He just cared about clearing out the division. For example, he moved up to 122, got the WBO strap right quick, and then immediately after that fought a unification with Jeffrey Mataluba, who at the time was the IBF champion. He beat him. Immediately after that, he dumped that belt, and then he went on to fight Nishioka, who was the WBC champion, but the WBC stripped him right before the fight and made that fight for the WBC Diamond title, which at the time was the first time I saw or even heard of the Diamond title. So basically what I'm trying to say is we praise Canelo for trying to fight 4 times a year and trying to become undisputed in a weight class. Well, I'm here to tell you that Donaire did that 10 fucking years ago. The only difference is he didn't give a fuck about keeping the belt, so he just dumped them after he would win them. Because back then, becoming undisputed wasn't like, I mean, right now, I guess that's like the hot thing to do, the cool thing to do, right? But back then, he just was considered about clearing out the division. So now here he is 10 years later at 118, which I always felt was a division that he didn't spend enough time in. And he's in with Casimero, who is a wild man. He's very similar to Ricardo Mayorga style-wise. He's got some decent knockout power. Very, very aggressive style. And he's also a lot shorter than Donaire. I believe Casimero is about 5'5", if I'm not mistaken. He might even be 5'4". The point is, he's extremely short. So we got an extremely short guy who's very aggressive, has good power, and throws wild punches. Again, he's not a bad fighter. He has good wins. I believe his best win is against I'm Not Ruin Wrong, back down in the lighter weight classes. However, style-wise, this is just perfect for Donaire in my opinion. Because much like Vic Darchinyan, this guy, like I said before, is aggressive and he loves to come forward and he throws wild shots. That's perfect for Donaire's check left hook. That's also perfect for his sharpshooting abilities and so forth. And then you add the punching power and the size advantage that Donaire has, because don't forget, Donaire has fought all the way up to featherweight, so he's clearly the much bigger man. So when I compute all these things and put all these facts together, this is a knockout win for Donaire. That's what I see over here, guys. I see a knockout win for Donaire, for the Filipino warrior. Again, just style-wise, this is perfect. We got a short, aggressive man with not the best defense, that just wants to come in and brawl and knock you out. And I see Donaire knocking him out with a sharp left hook. That's what I see. So there you have it, folks. Just remember, before I let you guys go, please like and subscribe if you like my content. And just like anything else in life, Donaire, you know, in order to do anything good, you have to gamble. In order to achieve something great, you have to take risks. Just like this man right here, just like Nonito Donaire has been doing for his whole career. And that's why we're going to remember Donaire after he retires, and that's why we remember this man to this day. They both were willing to take on risks to accomplish the things that they wanted to accomplish. God bless all of you. You guys have a wonderful evening or day, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Peace out.